Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time of the year we have all been waiting for. We are 2 weeks away from the draft. It's going to be so fun this year. I cannot wait to see the draft. So, I'm going to try to predict who I think is going to be the 10th first pick of this draft. So, let's jump right in with the first pick. And the Devils are going to be proud to select from Orlando, Florida, Jack Hughes. And this is a pretty easy one here. I don't think they're going to say it in the open, but New Jersey is a market that struggled a little bit in the past few years. So they can really use a franchise player like Jack Hughes to be the face of their team. With Taylor Hall. He also has the speed to match Taylor Hall, and it's probably going to be a good selling point and try to re-sign Hall at the end of the year. With the second selection, the Rangers have an easy decision here once again. I think it's very clear it's Kaapo Kakko here. He had an insane season this year in the Liga. For an 18-year-old, it's really impressive what he was able to do. He also followed it up at the World, winning the gold medal, and he was a key factor in that gold medal as well. So I think his game is very mature and might be even more mature than Jack Hughes. So he's going to be able to help the Ranger pretty fast. He's going to be a factor as soon as next year, and I expect him to score maybe 25-30 goals even at his first season in the NHL. With the third overall pick in Chicago, this is where things get very interesting because a lot of people have Bowen Byram very high on their board, and a lot of teams could use a top one defenseman. They might receive a few offers here from other teams, but I think ultimately they'll decide to go with Alex Turcotte. Since the Blackhawks are really stacked at D with young players like Boquist, Nicolas Baudin, Ian Mitchell, Yoki Aru, they are also stuck with pretty bad contracts that are going to be hard to move. Duncan Keith, Seabrook, and also Connor Murphy. So it makes sense to go with a center in Alex Turcotte. Jonathan Toews will actually be a good mentor for him. And since he's playing a mature game, he's good defensively already. He will be able to jump in the NHL pretty soon. I think next year he has a very good chance of making the team. With the fourth overall pick, it's the Colorado Avalanche. And once again, they are also really deep at D in terms of young prospect. They have Samuel Girard, Cale Makar. They also have Connor Timmins and, of course, Tyson Barrie. But I think you cannot pass on a guy like Bowen Byram. At the end of the day, he's clearly the best player available in my mind, and I don't think they're going to pass on him. I will be very curious to see what type of offer they will receive to trade that pick, because I'm sure a team like the Abs, for example, who really need a left-handed defenseman, let's say they put on the table their 15 overall pick and Jonathan Drouin. Drouin used to play with McKinnon back in the day. They had a really nice connection here. So this would be a nice starting point. I think the Avs will need to add a little bit more because the 15 overall pick plus Drouin might not be enough. But Drouin seems to be a really nice fit for Colorado since their first line was great, but the second line was really not that good. So it would add to their top 6 depth. With the fifth overall pick, we have the LA King, and I'm not a big fan of this organization. I think they made a lot of bad decisions in the past few years. They should have pulled the plug a little bit sooner instead of signing older player like Kovalchuk. They should have maybe tried to move a player like Jeff Carter, Dustin Brown. Try to get younger and start the rebuild, because right now they really don't have much, especially at D. There's only Kyle Clegg. Other than that, there's nothing much. So I'm sure they're hoping Bowen Byram fall into their hands, but I don't see that happening this year. So with the fifth overall pick, I think they're going to choose Dylan Cozens. I think the Kings are finally going to do the transition and going with speed instead of big body and a grind type of game. They're going to go with speed. They picked Kupari last year, who was, in my mind, one of the fastest player in the draft. And again, this year, Dylan Cozens, I think in a straight line, he might be the fastest in the draft. So you cannot go wrong with him. He's also extremely solid defensively. I see a lot of potential defensively with him. And he could be playing very fast in the NHL. Maybe next year he has a chance to play because he's extremely solid at 5-on-5 too. With the 6th overall pick with the Detroit Red Wings, I think now with Steve Yzerman, they're gonna let him. They're gonna be very patient with him, and he's gonna be able to take a bit more risk here, and that's why I think he chose Trevor Zegras. In Zegras, I think Detroit are getting the best passer in the draft. I know Hughes is a good passer too, but in terms of making the hard passes and running a power play, I think Zegras is the best player in the draft. The only thing with him is that he's gonna need maybe a little bit more time because his game is not that mature. He's gonna need to tone down a little bit on the flashy stuff. Even though I like some of the thing he does, there's some unnecessary stuff sometime, but it's just gonna come with experience. And I also like a player that's very creative and outside the box and can do super high level stuff. I think Zegras will fit very well in Detroit with a sniper like Zadina and Anthony Manta, and he's gonna be well worth the wait. At the end, I think we can expect someone like Niklas Backstrom, maybe a mix of also Patrick Kane and Clayton Keller. So he could be a really special player. With the 7th overall pick, I think the Buffalo Sabres select Kirby Dach. Buffalo Sabres are a pretty small team with players like Jeff Skinner and Connor Sherry, Brendan Montour. I think they lack a little bit of grit and size, and if you want to win in the playoff, you need a little bit more toughness, and this is what I saw from Kirby Dach in the playoff in the WHL. He was tested and he didn't shy away from it. So a big center like him with excellent hands and a very good playmaker, it's hard to find, and I think it's a good gamble for the Buffalo Sabres. With the 8th overall pick for the Edmonton Oilers, I think they're going to try real hard to trade that pick to improve and get maybe someone that can help the team sooner rather than later. We've seen last year they pick a guy like Evan Bouchard, who I think was one of the most NHL ready player of the bunch around the range they pick. And I think if they're not able to trade the pick this year, they might do the same thing and take someone that's more NHL ready. And around that pick, I think Matthew Boldy is one of the guys that doesn't have too many holes in his game. He's a really solid complement. He would fit nicely on the wing with either Draisaitl or McDavid. One thing I like about Boldy is that no matter what, on any line he was put on the US NTDP program, that line always seemed to click really well. So that's why I'm saying he's a really nice complement player. And also he has a great shot. I think he could be a 30-goal scorer in the NHL one day. So the upside is there and he could be playing very soon. With the 9th overall pick, I think the Ducks have an easy decision here with older players like Corey Perry that's on his way out. They're gonna need to replace the goal he was scoring when he was in his prime. They struggle scoring this year, so I think Cole Caufield is the perfect fit. They also have a lot of big players like Comtois, Andre Case, a lot of big body, and I don't think they would mind selecting a smaller player here. With the 10th overall pick, this is where it gets really tricky and fun because the Canucks are gonna have a lot of good option here. So there's still Krebs that's available. There's also Broberg, the left-handed defenseman, Moritz Seider, Alex Newhook, Vasily Podkolzin. So they have a lot to choose from, and I believe they're gonna take Alex Newhook because overall the Canucks are a little bit slower team. The forward group could use a little bit more skating, and I think Newhook is the most dynamic player. He also bring a lot of good stuff offensively, and he could also be a guy that could play on the PK. With his skating attribute. I also think Moritz Seider could be a very nice fit with the Canucks, especially alongside Quinn Hughes. I think he would fit perfectly. It would be a nice complement to Quinn Hughes. So this is the end of the top 10 mock draft for my prediction this year. And I'm also currently working on a big video with my 31st best player on my list. So it's going to be a video with some clips and a little bit of comment I have on each player. So this is probably going to be out in the next week or two. Hopefully I have enough time to finish it before the draft. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.